So first of all, there are no country flags in this piece. So what we use is the international code of signals and the semaphore flags and just plain color flags. And why? Because for me, they were a metaphor for two important things that for me were important, and is being overloaded with multi-channel communication, being in a period of time that it was not only about globalization, but was suddenly about protectionism and borders and walls. It's a very old method also of communication. So this one was my motivation also for the creation of the piece. This piece was created before the pandemic. This piece premiered in February 2020. We had the premiere in Frankfurt in Germany. We were reading in the newspaper from China what was going on, but still it was far away. And suddenly we were using white suits and we were using masks. So inside the piece, the dancers are not in contact, the dancers are spread apart. It was something like futuristic that suddenly, weeks after we premiered, the pandemic was coming closer and closer. And then suddenly all shows after the premiere were cancelled.
The work with Paula on that piece has been quite intense because as performers we had to not only learn a completely new language but try to first of all remember this alphabet with the flags and the meaning of every flag and because the piece is kind of like a collage of different sentences or different messages that we're trying to make come through to the audience. We had to also memorize an entire script that is kind of the blueprint of the piece. And that was a long work that required a lot of mental effort, more than physical. And apart from that, we had the challenge that because we are masked for half of the piece, on top of this flag language, we had to accentuate our body language and work with how, with the different emotion or the different situations that we're creating on stage and the tension that we're building between the performers in a way that is not always as easy as one could do with facial expressions.
I think the work so far in the process was really personal when it came to the translation into movement of certain flags' meaning. And what we also researched a lot was the idea of rituals in combination to flags or in connection to flags. We implemented our personal way of moving into that. We were teaching each other the material. It is quite personal and combined with the idea of group rituals.
We all have to deal with communicating via Zoom, via messages, via internet. So all these new languages kind of like are represented in those flags that we are waving around on stage.
My previous work that was premiered with 20 Bulgarian dancers during the opening of the festival, and it was a great opportunity to have an exchange with the local dancers and the local audiences and see the responses, and not only parachuting and arriving to a place, showing something and leaving, but have that possibility of giving something and not only giving but receiving, and so that has been wonderful, and it's a very different experience from my peace flag. The homage Mърс Кънингам was born to bring people closer to dance, and it's also, for me, it's an event. It's not a piece. it might happen that not only people come who are exclusively coming to see the event, but also people that might be curious because suddenly they saw people walking, getting closer. So it's kind of an approach that I follow that is making dance more available for a broader audience, and not only for people who are only interested in dance. So yes, so this is it was I would say like a wonderful experience